My major design project is an abstract modern wall mount, which provides storage space for small objects like keys or other pocket essentials and emits a warm source of light for the night wanderers within family households. This design also presents a unique design feature within the light sources of the central piece, creating a more sophisticated client-friendly adjustable element. The central light boxes of this shelf will contain various intricately designed layered cards, which will be interchangeable for different designs to suit the interests of any client. This product will benefit individuals, society, and the environment through its functionality, aesthetics, and consideration for the environment. The benefits that come with this product for the individual involve improvement of quality of life through its use for both storage and decorative purposes within a minimalistic home setting. My innovative design offers users an easily accessible storage spot for smaller items such as keys, as well as creating a more vibrant environment to its prior state. The installation of this product is relatively simple and only requires a wall plug as well as batteries to function. There is minimal maintenance with this product. However, regular dusting is recommended for the inner part of the acrylic frame for the best resulting display. Tripping hazards are possible, however easily avoidable, through cable management depending on wall placement and excess cable wires. This design allows individuals to potentially display their interests or personality through either the interchangeable cards images or the small storage compartment surrounding. This allows people to have a sense of personalization and connection within communities of people that could potentially share the same interests. By mass-producing this product, customers would only require a single-time purchase of the structural frame and, out of preference, purchase various different card designs to replace only the centerpieces of the honeycomb. This results in minimal requirement for produce of the frame, using less expensive material. The card that I use to make the frame inserts can also be bought in bulk, minimizing the price of this design. The MDF material is sourced from collecting fibers of old woods and compressing them into sheet, meaning that this is recycled wood. However, it is very difficult to re-recycle after being converted into MDF, meaning that most of the time it is incinerated or sent to landfill. The MDF that I used was also maximized in laser cutting, so that less space was taken up on the sheets so that other people could print other stuff on the same sheet of MDF and minimize material wastage. The card paper is sourced sustainably, as it is made from renewable resources, mostly being wood pulp, promoting the recycling of materials and increasing cost effectiveness. I came up with multiple simple sketches for how I wanted this design to turn out. When considering factors such as size, simplicity, and balance, I was able to narrow them down to these three. Initially, the plan was to create a more simple and symmetrical design. However, considering how abstract the idea of hexagons were, I could have made the entire piece abstract, which brought me to my third concept sketch, which does have more light as well as less symmetry. Although visually I prefer the third sketch, this would have brought up multiple complications as to the weight of each side of the shelf, the overcomplication of the process compared to the limited time of construction, the crowdedness of the design, as well as cable management for the user in the end product. So my final design will turn out like sketch 1 or sketch 2. Research and experimentation was a massive part of my project, enabling me to understand the processes and outcomes of different procedures to choose the best fitting method of construction for my final design. For example, this specific sketch demonstrates the layout of my card that allows for the best resulting image to be shown. For the layers to be distinguishable, a specific amount of space has to be left between each piece of card, or the shadow casted on the layer behind would not be visible enough. This I could pick up before even testing my layout, through various YouTube videos demonstrating similar concepts of light being used in art. I then had to consider the limitations that came with my original idea of placing the light strips in between each of the layers due to impracticality and the production of more of a 2D effect. To attack this complication, I created various CAD models to identify where I wanted my lights to sit, as well as exit the box to the main power source. I was able to create a sketch to show that the lights would sit horizontally through a side panel of the frame, rather than around the card itself. My original sketches were extremely different to my end product sketches, not just in the positioning of the lights, but also in the separation of the outer frame and inner frame that could come out so that the card could be replaced. Through testing with various other prototypes, I was able to identify multiple issues with the accessibility of the cards, as well as factors such as cleaning the inside of the clear acrylic frame from dust gathering over time. Through conducting this sort of experimentation, I was able to mold my original idea into a new improved structure for my MDP. As discussed beforehand, I adapted various processes from existing similar products and related them to my own design to be able to get the best possible outcome in the most efficient and cost-effective way. For example, material use was a massive factor that I had considered while creating this intricate layered design for my centerpiece. Originally, when I was looking through available materials, I was going to create my layers using frosted acrylic to give it a softer look. However, through research, I saw that often layering was done using thick card paper to allow the light to pass through. Regardless, I tested both frosted acrylic and card paper, as well as laser cut MDF material. Through this test, I was able to determine that the card was the best decision for the layers due to the intricacy of the designs and the ability for light to travel around each material and produce a clear image. Emerging technologies provided major assistance to my project throughout the entire design process. The main source of my produced material was due to the use of the laser cutter. I was able to create multiple cutouts to create 3 different prototypes, as well as producing the inner frame that will sit inside my outer frame and hold the layered card in place. I was able to visualize how this frame would look because of the miniature models that I made of my product to determine the best method to provide the easiest accessibility to the inside of the box and to enhance the appearance of the product. I was also able to use my laptop to create Illustrator files that were used to format the things that I needed to be laser cut, as well as conducting research on existing products and procedures, creating a visualizable CAD model for my design. Through the current development of my final product, I have been able to spend the majority of my time planning out the exact procedures that I will need to take, allowing me to greatly shorten the amount of time it will take to produce my actual product. The most time-consuming part of my whole project was intended to be the planning process, which is currently complete, only leaving the production process. This is still happening, and I am currently finalizing the inner frames of this design, only leaving the wiring of the LED lights, the placement of the LED strips, the construction of the outer frame, and the card cutting of the layered card designs. I had already considered the time commitment that would be needed for the planning and prototyping step of this process, allowing myself plenty of time to keep tweaking my concept until it was perfect and ready for construction. Due to thorough research and experimentation, I will now be able to finalize my product within the set time frame for this major design project. My design process involved producing fusion models of my final design to visualize the outcome, Illustrator models to process for printing that were based off the visualizations of the fusion models, and the construction of multiple models that demonstrated the different aspects that I would eventually need to combine to create a final prototype to scale up for my final design, and duplicate as many times as required to produce my entire design. Various problems were identified, however they were solved during the prototyping stages of this project, so that they would not arise during the construction of my final design, complicating and wasting more time while making the actual product.